Hi everyone, Quillifen here again. Just a couple minutes ago, well, okay, maybe it was an hour or something, I watched a video on Kelly Bear's channel. And in this video, she talked about the 5 decks that she would pick if she could only work with 5 decks for the rest of her life, or for those that are not as strong-hearted, the 5 decks that she would pick if she would go on a vacation for a year or maybe live in another country for a year and could only pick 5 decks because of limited space. And this is like the option that I am going to choose because I cannot think about what decks to pick for the rest of my life. There are too many great options out there. So no chance on doing that, but I can choose 5 decks that I could or would pick to take with me on a vacation for a year. Because I know I would come home to all my other lovelies. At first, when I saw the video, I thought, damn, this is going to be so easy. I mean, 5 decks, come on. But then I realized that I'm actually not going to pack like my 5 favorites. But some other decks started calling out to me, and then that's when it get kind of difficult. But I managed to narrow it down to 5. And so without further ado, here are my 5 tarot decks that I would choose if I could only pick 5 to go with me on a vacation. And the first one would have to be... Oh, and these are in no particular order, so I'm just going with it. So the first one would be the Tarot of the Shea. Simply because this deck is amazing. This is not my favorite deck. This is not my favorite artwork, but I've had the greatest experiences with one-card pulls, with path working, with meditation, and even just sometimes it just happened while I was looking at the card, not intending to do anything with this deck. So it definitely would have to come because I simply wouldn't want to rid me of that possibility. So the energy of this deck is amazing. I think the most cards I used at once in a spread was a 3-card pull, so a very small spread. But I feel that you either would have to kind of to struggle. You'd either end up struggling with too many informations in a larger spread, or you would have to limit the deck, because I feel that each and every picture in this deck has such a story to tell to you. And again, mainly because I did path working with this deck and it's intense. So again, love this one. Awesome for path working, awesome for self-development and shadow working. So beautiful. I would have to pick this. The next deck, let me just leave it here so we can see them all in the end. So the next deck that I would pick would actually be, I have to get it out of its box, the Antique Anatomy Tarot. Simply because A, this deck is gorgeous, B, this deck reads gorgeously, and C, I just love doing readings with this deck on, well, let's say in regards to some cyclic readings. So I just simply love to do full moon readings with this deck. I love to do new moon readings with this deck. Waxing, waning, I don't care. Give me the moon and I choose this deck. I just love the way it reads in those kind of spreads or in those kind of readings. Gorgeous. Plus, I'm kind of drawn to more antique looking decks right now. I don't know why. I really don't have a clue. But it is what it is. And even though this not necessarily is like totally antique, but just having this kind of antique looking background and sometimes some form of antique looking elements in the deck, I just love it right now. And I mean, look at this death card. This is one of my favorite death cards ever. Just love it. So I would have to pick this for any kind of moon-related readings. The next one kind of is a no-brainer, to be honest. And this is the only favorite that I actually picked. So, well, if you know me, you know what's going to come up next. Because I definitely would have to pick this Silver Beauty here. And I mean, you know this deck. Here we have the Fountain Tarot. And I would have to pick this deck simply because I feel this is my most versatile deck. Because of its very neutral energy and it's just so well balanced that I can use it in every kind of mood. I can use it for every kind of reading, for every kind of question. It always kind of fits. So even though it's not necessarily the first deck that I will grab, I can work with it for each and every reading. Just because it's so versatile and so well balanced and neutral. And yet still it has, I mean, the first word that popped up in my head is, well, coolness, or maybe cold. No, coolness. Coolness is better. But still, I know that this word especially has some kind of negative connotation with the Fountain Tarot, because a lot of people think that it's a cold deck, which I don't believe in, and I don't feel like it is. But it has some let's call it an airy vibe. It has some kind of it's a bit reasonable, or it's a bit logic sometimes, to me at least. So I feel like if I would have to pick an element for it, it would be air. Even though, again, all the other elements are heavily represented here in this deck, and it's very, very well balanced, but it's just this nuance that I would put it a bit more into the air section, which is a great thing because it also has the effect of kind of taking the edge out of heavily emotionally involved situations or questions, and simply kind of cools it down just minimum, just a bit, which obviously, or which often is enough. So I really like this. And again, to me, this is not a cold deck. Don't get me wrong. It's just this kind of logical approach, or this kind of, I don't know. Again, this is, to me, it's a bit airy, this deck. And to you, it could be totally different. Okay, the next one is a bit of a counterpart to the Fountain Tarot, because actually it is pretty balanced as well, and it is pretty neutral as well. But where the Fountain Tarot has this kind of coolness to it, or this kind of airy vibe to it, this one has more of a fiery vibe to it. So it's a bit passionate, and I forgot to etch it. Simply forgot to. Damn it. I have to do this ASAP. So this is the Tarot of Delphi, and I actually misjudged this deck at the beginning, because I somehow, for whatever reason, I thought this deck would be, let's call it a bit of a romance novel reader. So a bit shallow, maybe, which it isn't in the slightest. So this is, again, it's quite neutral as well. It obviously is an eye candy. I mean, look at these images. They are stunning, to say the least. I just love the artwork that the creator used for this deck. Oh, so beautiful. And still, in its neutral attitude, it is quite passionate. And there's a lot of creation and creativity in this deck, and it likes to be used for readings about topics that you are passionate about. At least for me, again, I can only talk for myself. I I just love this deck. So in order to have another neutral deck but with a slightly different attitude, and just to have this kind of eye candy, and again, this a bit more antique looking cards, I just had to pick the Tarot of Delphi. Plus, I don't have it for that long, so I really enjoy working with it right now. So it calls out quite often to me. So Tarot of Delphi would be my fourth deck. And now, it's a bit of a cheat, I have to say, because it's actually 2 decks in one, but it's just one tarot deck, so it doesn't count as a cheat. And look at this. And just imagine that I would have to pick 5 decks because I would run out of space in my suitcase or in my luggage. This isn't too big. This is just one of those cases you can get to put 2 playing card decks in, like the small playing card decks. And what I put in here is the Tarot Everywhere and Oracle Everywhere. So again, it's 2 decks, but I'm concentrating on the Tarot Everywhere here, although I really would want to take the Oracle Everywhere with me as well. Simply because I really enjoy how those read together. But again, in order for the tarot decks, like 5 tarot decks, this is the 5th one, which is the Tarot Everywhere. And I would pick this one because if I want a quick reading, if I would want an answer like in a second, if I don't want to spend time delving into cards and thinking about meanings and kind of sinking into the intuition, or into my intuition, and kind of, wrap my head around cards, and simply just, if I don't want to really work with tarot cards, but I want to do a reading, and I want it to be quick, like almost Lenormand style quick, then I'd grab the Tarot Everywhere, because this is such an easy read. It just clicks into place immediately. It's like talking to a friend who knows what he or she is talking about, who knows its stuff, and who's giving it to you without any kind of filter. It's just bam, there it is. Really love it. And the artwork is gorgeous and it looks beautiful in spreads. I just love this deck. This is so beautiful. I rarely ever do like pre-made spreads with this deck. I did and I will do, but most of the time if I use this deck, it's really used like in a conversation. So I'm doing free-form spreads. I'm just going with the roll. I'm asking a question. I'm getting the answer, maybe in a 3 card. Then I think, oh, okay. And because of this question, this leads me to the next. And it goes on like in a conversation. And I really enjoy this with this deck. And just because I wanted to add this kind of layer and this kind of, different aspect of tarot to my 5 decks, that's why I had to pick the Tarot Everywhere as well. And again, it comes with the Oracle Everywhere. So that's a bonus. But again, it's just about tarot decks, right? I'm not cheating. 5 tarot decks. It would be the Tarot of the Shea right now, the Antique Anatomy, the Fountain Tarot, the Tarot of Delphi, and the Tarot Everywhere. And again, this is just like in this moment. Can you hear my cat? We have 5:30 right now. They usually are fed at or getting fed at 6-ish, like 6 p.m. And he thinks that I should hurry up. It's half an hour to go. You should relax. Cats. Okay. Back to the topic. So this is like what I would take in this very moment, because I actually have 2 decks on the way right now that might take a place in this constellation. And I have my eye on a couple decks on eBay that again might take a place in this constellation. And I have a couple decks on my wish list and a couple decks that are coming out this year from my wish list. So this is just how it is like right now in this very moment. And I was quite surprised that the only kind of favorite deck of mine, like old time favorite deck of mine would be, or was, the Fountain Tarot in this 5 thing here. Because I expected to pick like my old time usuals. So the Shadowscape, the Fountain Tarot, the Tarot of the Hidden Realm, the Druid Craft, and then maybe the Marielle. But for some reason, these just called out to me. So, and I think I would have covered almost all situations with these decks, and it would be a quite interesting year. Definitely not a dull one, I think. So, if you haven't watched Kelly Bear's video about the decks that she would choose, then please go and do so. I will link to the video in the description box below, because it's an awesome video and I could listen to Kelly Bear for hours and hours and hours, because I love the way she talks and the things she says, and I just love her. So go and have a look. And I would love to see all of your responses. Can't talk apparently, but that's not new to you. So again, I would love to see what decks you would choose for either a year or for the rest of your life, depending how brave you are. I'm not that brave, as I already said. So you could just simply write them down in the comment box below. You could put up a picture on Instagram and link it here. You could, I don't know, post it in our Facebook group, like the Truth and Stories Facebook group, which I know a lot of you are in. You could obviously, and I would love to see that, do video responses and simply link to them in the comment box below, because I would love to see it. And that's it. So I hope you are all having a gorgeous, beautiful, lovely day. And for those of you who are celebrating Easter, happy Easter. All right. Bye.